What's going on, everybody? King Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Build-A-Figure, the Allfather Odin. Really glad I have this guy fully assembled, so what I'm going to do now is take a little break, and we'll go on to the rest of his review, so sit tight, everyone. So here we have Odin fully assembled, and before we get on to Odin, I was really torn whether putting on the blue cape or the red cape on him. As much as I like red, I think I'm going to leave the blue cape on, because red, that's kind of Thor's deal, and I don't know, I think blue looks a lot better on Odin, if you ask me. Once again, here is the alternate head for King Thor. If you don't want to have Odin, you can always have the arm for King Thor, and here's the head that goes with him. So, moving that off to the side. Another thing that Captain Marvel came with that I think you can pose Odin with, even though this is meant for King Thor, is this axe. Really nice detail on the axe. Just like Mjolnir, it suffers from a lack of paint detail on the handle. And unlike Mjolnir, it does not have as much detail painted on the axe head, and it's actually relatively soft, as you can see. A little unfortunate, but I guess I can live with it. And then once again we have the sword that Thor came with. Again, not really sure if this is supposed to go with Odin or if it's supposed to stay with Thor, but honestly it looks good in Odin's hand, and you are going to struggle putting accessories into his hands because they're not the easiest to put in. But once you get him in, he's going to be holding on to them for dear life, and no chance of him ever letting them go. Let's actually zoom out a little. You can see he holds the sword nice. And like I said, it looks really nice with Odin, so I'm probably going to have him with the sword and Gungnir. And just really fast taking that out of his hand if he wants to let it go. The axe slides into his hand easy enough. It's supposed to be grabbed right here, but as you can see, there's a lot of wiggle room, so maybe moving it right there. I don't know, I'm not going to pose him with the axe, but it's a nice accessory. Might pose it with someone else, I don't know yet. And his final accessory, if we can get it out of his hand, is Gungnir, the spear that never misses, and moving him off to the side, so we can go on to some of Gungnir's detail. It is molded all in one plastic. There's no paint detail on it, which is unfortunate. I would have loved to see paint on this, because it's a lot of missed opportunity to have silver highlights, blue accents, silver accents. Just overall missed opportunity on the paint there. Might have to do that on my own, but we'll see what happens. But it's still a nice looking accessory. That off to the side and zooming the camera back out so we can go on to the Allfather himself, Odin. Now I mainly got every figure in this line for Odin. I thought Odin is a really nice character. I enjoyed the portrayal of him in the movies, and he's having a really tough time standing now. I don't know if that's a problem with all Odin figures or just mine. And there's a culprit. He has a loose ankle. You can see that right there. That's a loose ankle. He's having... That ankle doesn't support his weight all too well. Okay, so that's a little unfortunate that we already have some quality control with the ankle. But let's actually go on to some of Odin's detail. Zooming the camera in some more. That's a really nice face sculpt of Odin. You can see he does have the eye patch, the helmet, if I can't pick the camera up just a little more. Okay. Nice detail on the helmet. Let's see if the camera doesn't focus. I am liking that. No hair on Odin besides his beard. But you can see the armor is nicely painted. There's some scratches and divots in it like he's been in a lot of war. His beard's also tied, so that's kind of cool. Strangely enough, his buckle is relatively clean compared to the rest of his armor. You'd expect it to be just as dirty. His greaves are nicely painted just like the upper part of his armor. And then a nice blue wash on his cape, if you can see that right there. So overall, really nice looking figure. I'm really glad I have him, so let's actually get the camera panned down so we can go on to his articulation. He does have the standard Marvel Legends articulation. And what that is a ball jointed head. He can look up, down, left and right, although it is hindered by his beard. And he does have some head bobble. Sorry if you can't see that. So left and right, up and down. Not too much down because once again the beard, and he can look up. Arms on a ball joint go out and the cape came off. It has a tendency to do that. Without the cape he does a 360. He spins at the bicep, bends at the elbow, and spins at the elbow. And everybody knows how much I enjoy ball hinge elbows and bicep swivels. Those are like my favorite wasted articulation points ever. Hinge in the wrist as well as spins. He has a ball jointed torso. It can move back really far, but not too far forward, so that's a little unfortunate. But getting him standing straight up. Going onto his legs do go forward and back. Hindered massively by this, his little tunic or whatever you want to call it, but his legs do go out to about that far. He is double jointed in the knee. Really nice. A hinge in the ankle as well as some... Yes, he has ankle pivot, which is... Surprisingly, he has that and Thor did not, and it's the same for both legs. Okay, let's try to get his cape back on him. His cape is a peg. As you can see, there's a little peg right there, and you just peg that in. Give it a little push, and it should stay nice and easy. Now, before we go on to my final thoughts, just a really quick size comparison. Here we have Odin, and probably one of the smaller figures in the line. Here we have Captain Marvel. He is a bigger figure, but he's only like Thor's size, which is honestly a little disappointing. I would have liked it if Odin was taller, because he's a Build-A-Figure after all, and Build-A-Figures are supposed to be really big and bulky and massive, but I digress. So what I'm going to do now is get him posed up and move on to my final thoughts. That will wrap up this review, so sit tight everyone. And here we have Odin posed for my final thoughts, and overall, I really do like the figure, although there are some things I would change, like added more paint detail to his helmet and to Gungnir. But overall, really nice figure. I'm digging his accessories. Once again, not sure if this is his sword or Thor's sword. Maybe somebody in the comments will tell me, because the box shows it's for Thor, but I can hear a lot of people say it's Odin's sword, so maybe somebody knows, I don't know. I might post Odin with it. Now, Odin himself is relatively hard to find, actually, because people like sculpting Captain Marvel and Scarlet Witch, even though, you know, you need Scarlet Witch to make Odin and Captain Marvel to make King Thor, but I haven't seen any prices. I've seen people ask like $60 for him. That's a fair price, especially because you're paying over $100 for all 7 figures when you really need 5. But just a really nice figure. I picked them all up so I could have options, and when I just went with default Odin, so maybe I should have just picked 5 up. But anyway, if you can find all the figures in the wave and you want Odin, I recommend you pick him up. Yeah, it's lacking detail in Gungnir and the helmet, but it's something I can overlook. And he is barely hitting retail now, so if you haven't already picked him up online, try your luck going out at retail. You might find him. Once again, every figure is going for about $20 plus tax. And if you can find all of them, pick them up. They're all great figures, and you get Odin, which is, that's a really good deal. And this is King of Dragons 5000 saying, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.